Hello and a very warm welcome to this special as we preview the big match coming up tonight. It is Australia versus England, one of the greatest cricketing rivalries. You talk about India and Pakistan, and then there is Australia versus England, goes back to centuries. But what makes this contest even more interesting is that these two teams haven't lost a single game in the tournament and would like to extend that dream run, and also would want to finish at the top of the group so that they don't have to face an in-form Pakistan in the semi-finals. But more than that, I think it also will come down to the bragging rights here, right, Abhishek? It becomes so much important when you have two teams that have this kind of rivalry to get the bragging rights.
True. I mean, like England, Australia, these are one of the rivalries that make sport what it is. I mean, England, Australia, you instantly remember Ashes, but it's T20s and the form that England is in, I mean, they're unstoppable. I mean, it's a clash between two quite similar teams, yet which play in a quite different style, right? I mean, both bat deep, both have brilliant pacers, both have tricky spinners.
Yeah.
But then England, they are so aggressive, and Australia are sort of more conservative in their approach considering T20s. So it's an interesting, I mean, clash of styles, you may
That's
say.
right. But if you look at how these two teams have played their matches in the tournament so far, England really haven't had to work very hard and have been emphatic. For Australia, yes, the first match against South Africa, you felt that, South Africa stretched it far too long for a target of 118. But the second game, again, a very comfortable one against Sri Lanka. I mean, when you look at the two sides, you can expect a cracker of a contest given how good they've been.
Brilliant, brilliant. I mean, none of the England bowlers you mentioned, how they have been unstoppable. None of the England bowlers, they have given more than 6 runs per over. I mean, overall in the stretch of 2 games. And that alone speaks a lot, about their bowling prowess. They have so many bowlers. I mean, they have almost they can use 6 to 7 bowlers. They have used only 6 so far, and all of them have struck. Most importantly for Australia, I think today, against other teams, we would have said that they should be wary of the pacers, but today they should be wary. The Australian top order should be wary of Moeen Ali. He has been such a phenomenon in this T20 World Cup.
Which is interesting to see, right? Moeen Ali gets that role at number 3 plus the way he's bowling from what he did for CSK.
True.
But England have got him here. He's come back and sort of resurrected his T20 career with the way he is bowled in this tournament. I mean, in the power plays, even the last game, unplayable. And one of the reasons you can say where, that made the difference in the game that he played.
His role and Adil Rashid's role, both are really crucial. I mean, obviously, we'll talk about the pacers later. I mean, they have Chris Vokes, Chris Jordan, Tymal Mills. Even their part-time leg spinner Livingstone, he has been doing so well. So, I mean,
he played a big role in
the last match. I mean, it's a complete package, right? I mean, I mean, you can't ignore anybody, and Australia have their task cut out.
Correct, but if there's one team that can
it is Australia. No,
causes juggernaut to stop is Australia, right?
Right.
Because for Australia as well, one of the big concerns was the form of their openers, David Warner and Aaron Finch. And in the last game, we saw them come back to form. We saw David Warner get the runs. And it wasn't him struggling out there in the middle, but really showing the intent, showing what he can do. So in that sense, Australia would be confident going into this match, given that their openers are, even Aaron Finch scored 37.
37, yeah. So after what happened in the IPL with David Warner, that welcome 65, I think he scored 65 in the last match. It was a really welcome change, that will give him confidence, and mostly these two guys. It's really important for Australia for these two guys to strike big in the power play overs, right? I mean, even Australia also, their middle order hasn't yet been tested so much. Their batters hasn't yet been tested. I think. It's mainly their bowling, which have won them the 2 matches, and I think it will be crucial today also.
Also, the fact that Adam Zampa and the kind of bowling that we saw him against Sri Lanka. My thing is that before this, I mean, they're only going it with one specialist spinner in Adam Zampa, and then you perform like that. Yes, Glenn Maxwell did his role in the first game. he was good with the bat and with the ball. But how crucial is Adam Zampa's role, given that he is the only spinner in the team, specialist spinner?
He provides those breakthroughs, and as we know, England is a team which is full of power hitters, big hitters, and against a leg spinner, I think if he fires well, they would like to go after him and get out if he strikes form. But main thing with Australia is its flexibility. As you correctly mentioned, Glenn Maxwell is always there, but he generally opens the bowling for them. In T20 World Cups, we have seen that. But if he goes for higher runs, then they can easily bring in Marcus Stoinis or Mitchell Marsh. Mitchell Marsh is a great all-rounder. He has not been used so far, so you can understand the depth in
and in
bowling
form
also.
as well.
In form as well. So the depth that Australia also has in batting as well as bowling. So it's a cracker.
It is going to be a cracker. But let's talk a little bit about England's batting and what makes them such a deadly force in this T20 World Cup. Is you start from Jason Roy and you go all the way down to 7, 8. Their specialist bowlers can bat as well. Right. So you're looking at a very deep batting lineup.
A guy like Chris Wokes, he's coming in at number 8. That says a lot. He's a proper all-rounder, and he's coming at number 8. Even Chris Jordan, he can also hit those get those maximums. So, it's never-ending batting when England plays, right? So Jason, obviously their only concern, which if you can call it a concern, is that their middle order, because their top order has done so well, their middle order hasn't got so much match practice as they would have liked to. It's because the guy named Jason Roy, he has been like thrilling. He has been thrilling.
Yeah. What's interesting is that out of all these teams who are at the top, if there's one person who'd be sitting happy in their dressing room is England captain Owen Morgan. Hasn't scored runs, but really whatever he seems to have been doing with the team, that works for them. Even the roles of the bowlers, as we said, some of their top guys are missing. Ben Stokes is gone. There's Jofra Archer's gone. Sam Curran, Tom Curran. These guys were going to be part of the team. Mark Wood, injury. And yet the roles that all these bowlers have been given, they've played that role to the team.
I think that's the free hand that was given to him, before the 2019 World Cup, that you choose your team, whatever role you want to play. This philosophy of attack and more attack, this was like imbibed in the team by Owen Morgan, and he has really repaid that faith.
Okay.
Has the toss happened?
Yes, the toss has happened, and England have won the toss, have opted to field. So there you go.
It's
given
the
trend that we have seen, 10 matches have been played here and 9 have been won by teams chasing. No different for England. But this is going to make a huge difference, isn't it, Abhishek? We did see in the last game that Afghanistan played against Pakistan last night, there wasn't as much due. And of course, you had the brilliant bowling of Afghanistan with Rashid and Mohammad Nabi bowling well in the latter half of that innings. But
still,
it's a huge advantage here for England.
Huge advantage, and it's really going to depend on how Aaron Finch and David Warner, they play in the power play. Again and again, I'm saying this power play because if you upset the rhythm, that's the only way you can like break through this England bowling attack. There's no other way, right? They are relentless with their bowling.
Okay, so also if you see the England playing 11, there are no changes, as we'd spoken about, Abhishek, in the beginning. That Mark Wood, even if he's fit, I don't think England, given the form that they are in, it's a match-winning combo. Why would you want to change it? So England have gone in with the same playing 11.
They're a well-oiled machine, and they would. There's no reason they would like to tinker with that.
And I think even for Australia,
there's no changes.
There are
Ashton Agar.
Yeah, there is one change.
Right. So I think who's the one?
Ashton Agar has come in.
So Mitchell Marsh is missing.
Mitchell Marsh is out. But again, that is one of those changes that they can totally do with. I don't think that they're so dependent on either Mitchell Marsh or the performance from
I think it will provide them that spin option. You were talking about one spinner. I think it will provide them that extra spin option, which is going to be crucial in Dubai. Yeah.
Absolutely. But I'm wondering as to what these teams are going to do. Now matches are going to get harder, more crucial, scoring those extra runs as a cushion. If you're batting first, it's not going to happen. You're not playing against some of the smaller teams. how will teams adapt, especially if they lose the toss? What are they going to do? Because this is playing a huge part, as we've already seen.
For Australia, I think, as I said, the opener's role, and I think Glenn Maxwell, he needs to strike from right. I mean, he was one of the best batters in the IPL second leg for RCB. Obviously, in the top 10, if you look at the top 10 run getters list in IPL, Glenn Maxwell was the only middle order batsman, and he needs to strike big here. I mean, those middle overs by Adil, Rashid and all, I mean, he is the guy who should go after him, you know. He knows the conditions well, and much depends on him, how much total they put up on that man, Glenn Maxwell.
But also the openers, like you
Smith
said,
also.
yes, Steve Smith as well. But I just feel that for them, for Australia to start big in the power plays, you know, to go for their shots in the power play is going to be important.
Right.
Because like we saw with what happened with India and Pakistan, and as Virat Kohli said, that once you lose 2 quick wickets right at the top, it's really difficult to get to, you know, a total that you think you can defend. So in this case as well, a lot will come down to how David Warner and Aaron Finch bat.
They need to target one of the bowlers, right? I mean, David Warner, we know, I mean, on his day, he can decimate any bowling lineup. I think he should target the likes of either Chris Wokes or Moeen Ali. I mean, that's the only way you can score big.
Absolutely, if they have any chance of
because they need
winning
at least 170 to 180 target to stop this England team.
Absolutely. Well, that's it on the show then. It is Australia versus England, and England have already won the toss. They've opted to bowl fast. We'll come back with all the latest from in our mid-innings show. But for now, goodbye. Thanks for watching. Do keep also watching News 9 Digital for all the latest updates from the world of sports. For now, goodbye. Thanks for watching.